Today on KXAN News at Noon, what is QAnon? A look into one of the extremist groups at the center of this week's violence at the Capitol. Plus,
we're tracking our next storm system set to arrive on Sunday and could even bring us some accumulating snow just north of the Austin area. We'll have that forecast for you coming up in First Warning Weather.
And coming up, a new strain of COVID-19 in Texas. We'll unpack the new study that looks at whether the vaccine can protect you. A police officer is now the fifth person to die in connection with the violence that erupted at the U.S. Capitol. Good afternoon, I'm Will Dupree. 13-year veteran Brian Sicknick died last night from injuries he suffered while responding to the violent mob storming the Capitol on Wednesday. And as a federal murder investigation is opened into Sicknick's death, a windfall of resignations on Capitol Hill. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund has resigned as questions swirl about why his department was so outmanned on Wednesday. We'll have more details on that in our second half hour. Also, the Senate's Sergeant-at-Arms, Michael Stenger, stepped down. And President Trump's cabinet seems to be dwindling by the day, including departures by Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, and most recently, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, blaming President Trump for rhetoric that fueled the chaos at the Capitol as she announces her resignation. The president himself is giving no indication he plans to leave office early, but on Capitol Hill, a growing chorus of lawmakers is calling on the president to do just that, or be removed from office. Peter Alexander has that story.
I would like to begin.
President Trump now facing enormous pressure doing an about-face, condemning the violence he's accused of inciting.
The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country, and to those who broke the law, you will pay.
It comes more than 24 hours after the president released this video filmed as the attack was taking place.
We love you. You're very special.
And after the president addressed the massive crowd ahead of the Capitol attack.
And after this, we're going to walk down and I'll be there with you.
In the short video produced by the White House, President Trump gets as close as he's come to a concession.
A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
But the president's critics do not want to wait, with calls growing for President Trump to be removed from office immediately.
We are in a very difficult place in our country as long as Donald Trump still sits in the White House.
More than 200 Democratic lawmakers and one Republican calling for impeachment or the president's removal through the 25th Amendment that would require the support of the vice president and at least 8 members of the president's cabinet. The Wall Street Journal's editorial board overnight urging President Trump to resign to avoid impeachment. Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who's faced blame for amplifying the outrage and objecting to President-elect Biden's legitimate win, offering this rare criticism of President Trump.
I do think the president's rhetoric and his language has been over the line. I think it was irresponsible. I think it was reckless.
Biden slamming Wednesday's attack, emphasizing the differing response by authorities now compared to last summer's demonstrations against racial injustice.
No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently.
Former Attorney General Bill Barr blasting the president's conduct as a betrayal of his office and supporters.
Peter Alexander reporting there. The FBI says they need help identifying some of the people involved in the siege at the Capitol. The Bureau issued several posters, just like this one, with pictures of some of the suspects who took part in Wednesday's violence. They say if you recognize anyone in these photos or you have information about the breach at the Capitol, you're asked to call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Checking in now with meteorologist Sean Kelly. Sean, we saw those temperatures start off pretty cold this morning.
Yeah, we had freezing cold temperatures out into the hill country here in Austin. We were just above freezing, but it was definitely jacket weather out there, and it's still a bit chilly for the most part on this Friday afternoon. Happy Friday, everyone. 48 here in Austin. Look at that. The clouds have returned as well. A little bit more of a gray sky moving on in from the north, pushing southward here. 41 in Cherokee. Good afternoon to you. Castell at 45 again. We're 10 degrees warmer from just a few hours ago, but Lomita, you're still at 39 degrees. Nice and chilly there. Again, 48 from Austin down through Kyle. 51 is the warm spot down in San Marcos. And Even our eastern counties nice and chilly. Giddings sitting at 52 degrees. A big game tonight that we're showing on KBVO, our sister station, Crosby versus Liberty Hill in Bryan, Texas. And it's going to be a cold one for that, clear and cold, with temperatures falling down into the lower 40s there. Again, we've seen some major improvements here through the past several weeks in terms of our drought monitor. But again, we are still, believe it or not, in a severe drought, especially for portions out into the hill country. But again, that could change by the end of this storm system. We could see another inch of rain as rain chances really ramp up heading this way into your Sunday. But there is a potential that's not all complete rain. We could see some sleet, maybe even some snow mixing as far south as here in Austin. We'll talk about those details coming up in First Warning Weather.
Thank you, Sean. Students at Allison Elementary School told today not to come to campus because of a possible gas leak. Austin ISD tells us a gas smell was noticed in the kitchen at Allison, which is in southeast Austin near ABIA. Texas Gas Service says the school's carbon monoxide detectors also went off, and they're investigating the problem. The district said if students cannot work remotely today, they'll be taken to Go Valley Elementary. More COVID records shattered statewide and locally this week. Texas reported 393 deaths on Thursday, the most recorded in a single day. State officials say they recorded at least 1,000 deaths since just Monday. In Travis County, 879 new cases yesterday, outpacing the previous July record by more than 100. Hospitalizations also hit a record, just shy of 13,800 in the state. Texas also reported more than 150 new hospital admissions yesterday.
This variant has the potential to throw jet fuel on an already dangerous situation.
And it migrated from the UK and has been reported in Colorado, Florida, California, and now Texas. A man in Harris County tested positive for this new fast-spreading variant of the coronavirus. Houston officials say the patient has no known travel history, meaning it's been likely spreading in the community. But there is some helpful news related to this new variant. New preliminary research just released from Pfizer suggests that its COVID-19 vaccine can protect against the new mutation of the virus. Scientists from the Pfizer and UT's medical branch used blood samples from 20 people who had received the vaccine. They found antibodies from those recipients were able to fend off the variant that spread across the UK and has now been found in the U.S. The study is preliminary, we should note, and has not yet been reviewed by other researchers, but experts say the results are promising. First, the first time in 8 months, U.S. employers shed jobs in December. The U.S. Department of Labor's jobs report released today showed 140,000 positions were cut last month, but the unemployment rate stayed the same. Economists say those two numbers show that employers have likely rehired all the workers they can afford. After millions were laid off at the start of the pandemic, they forecast the economy will keep weakening through the winter and likely early spring. But many economists project that a broad recovery in the second half of the year as the coronavirus vaccine reaches more Americans and the pandemic loosens its grip. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will announce their economic and jobs team today in Wilmington, Delaware. President-elect Biden says the new team will help advance his Build Back Better agenda to help end the worst jobs crisis in nearly a century. Biden is expected to nominate Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo as Secretary of Commerce. She was the first woman to be governor of that state. He'll also nominate Boston Mayor Marty Walsh as Secretary of Labor, who, if confirmed, would be the first union member to serve in the role in 50 years. Isabel Guzman will be nominated as Small Business Administrator, and Don Graves will be the nominee for Deputy Secretary of Commerce. Later in the show, a giant sinkhole opens in an Italian parking lot. We'll tell you what it gobbled up. And after the break, an inside look at QAnon. What is the movement and is linked to this week's violence of the Capitol? That's next.
18-wheeler accidents can cause serious injuries. Call today 24/7, nights